Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe.
NXT TakeOver Chicago predictions time. I'm Ollie Davis. This is Luke Owen. Welcome to WrestleRamble, where we are going to succinctly, this is a very quick video, there are only 5 matches. There's no way we could possibly go over 10 minutes.
No, absolutely no way possible. I was gonna say the H word, but I'm not sure if you're allowed to say that on like PG shows.
The H word?
Well, yeah, because some people get very offended when you talk about HE double hockey sticks, as Road Dogg used to put it.
Hell.
Even he himself will not say the words. But yeah, there's no
This is already superfluous time.
What was it you said wrong on the podcast?
It doesn't matter. Because we're doing the NXT predictions, we're focused. It was a trophy.
That's instead of atrophy.
All right, beefcase. The Money in the Bank beefcase.
Anyway.
We've recorded a lot of stuff today. We're a bit silly.
You can tell this is a late recording.
Okay, so my jacket is on the line. So it's NXT predictions, it's Money in the Bank predictions, and our respective lady partners' Money in the Bank predictions
as well.
Is that what we're
basing it on not doing fantasy booking warfare?
That'll be the following week, but that's separate. My jacket is so.
Okay, right.
I'm gonna do this pretty seriously. So first up, we've got the Undisputed Era, which is Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong, the champions, the tag team champions, taking on Oney, Lorcan and Danny Burch, the hard-hitting bald bastards team.
Is that what you're calling them?
That's their official team name.
I like it. It's
so
great.
Who are you going to go for? This is for the titles.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sticking with the Undisputed Era retention here. I really like Oney, Lorcan and Danny Burch as a tag team. I've actually really enjoyed their feud with Pete Dunne in there as well. That's been over the NXT TV for the last few weeks. But I feel that, Undisputed Era they're not going to get the tag belts here. I think the Undisputed Era are certainly retaining, not the least of which they're advertised for tag team championship matches in England the following couple of days later.
Card subject to change, Mr. Results Leaked. I saw a promotional advert.
Hey, man, I'm just saying.
I think Undisputed Era, there's a lot more mileage in them as champions.
Yes.
Longer term, you want to give it to the sort of the UK contingent of chaps, Moustache Mountain and Pete Dunne. As much as I love Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, now is not their time, and it shouldn't be them.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And also, I mean, there's you've got other tag teams that certainly deserve it. Street Profits in particular. Cannot wait for them to be in that tag team title picture.
So next up, we've got a grudge match. Ricochet versus Velveteen Dream, and so there's something about Velveteen Dream where he manages to make it, and I'm pretty sure it's his character, even though I believe he's not the best in-ring wrestler. He botches a lot, even against very good people. He does screw up a lot. But I just, in terms of character, he might be my favourite wrestler in the entire company, Raw, SmackDown, everything combined, because he has an ability to bring out something in his opponents which is a reflection of his own character. Mm-hmm. So you've got these two warring sides of one person acting out through action in the ring, and by the end of it, the story has them both a little bit further along.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Both wrestlers are helped. So that means Velveteen Dream can lose match after big match, and people still love him. And it's fascinating. It doesn't hurt him at all.
No, it really doesn't. And I don't think it's going to... I mean, I won't give away my prediction, but I'm assuming you're going with Ricochet.
Yes, which is why I'm going for Ricochet, in addition to it being way too early in Ricochet's NXT tenure to lose. This is the match that's kind of positioning the number one contender for the NXT title for the next takeover, and that person has to be Ricochet.
I'm also going with Ricochet, going with King R.
Levelled at the moment. So then we've got Shayna Baszler versus Nikki Cross for the NXT Women's Championship. Baszler is the champion right now.
She certainly is, and her storyline really on NXT for the past few weeks has been around Dakota Kai and bullying Dakota Kai. They had a championship match on NXT TV, and then Nikki Cross came down, and she's being in the background of all of this. She's been trying to get Nikki, getting Dakota Kai psyched up and being like, no, you can face her, doing it with a big Scottish accent. That weren't bad, and but now she's now she's the number 1 contender, and they're having this match. I loved the segments with Nikki Cross and Shayna Baszler, because Baszler is like an MMA fighter. She's like this legit character, and then Nikki Cross comes in doing her wacky stuff, and Shayna just goes like, what is going on? Like, there's a moment where she like stole her belt and pretended to be champion. She's like, what are you doing? Give it back! Like, stop! Show me respect. It's been really, really great. But I was actually a little bit disappointed. I thought this would have some Dakota Kai involvement, even if it was something along the lines of being the special guest referee. I thought that'd be a really nice touch, because she's scared of Shayna Baszler, but she also is probably a little bit scared of Nikki Cross as well, because who wouldn't be?
So who are you going to go for?
I'm going for a Baszler retention here, and I actually wonder whether, due to the backlash, you might say, from certain people, that this will be Nikki Cross's swan song in NXT, and she will rejoin her Sanity fellows up on the main roster.
Yeah, certainly possible. But WWE don't really listen to fans like that.
That's not what they tell you.
We pushed Daniel Bryan completely because of you guys.
Yeah.
I don't think Cross is coming up with Sanity. But so Baszler won the title at Mania.
Yes.
So she's only had like 1 takeover cycle. It would be a mistake to take the title off her now.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, there's this Dakota Kai feud rumbling in the background. It's nice to see Nikki Cross get this shot, because I think character-wise, their personalities are quite nicely suited. Baszler's just bullied everyone, but she's finally come across someone she can't bully because Cross is insane.
Yes.
So I do like that side of things. But yeah, There is no way in this where I don't think Baszler should lose the title.
I completely agree, and I think the Dakota Kai thing, as you said, will certainly continue onwards. I heart Dakota Kai right now. She's my NXT crush at the moment, and I think they're going to do some really, really good stuff there. Although I do think it's quite funny that essentially they looked at Dakota Kai and was like, "You're Bayley. You're Bayley 2.0. We're going to give you the exact same push, more or less.
Maybe we can make it work this time on the main roster." Then we have, which could be the main event, but I'm going to put the top title in that final slot here. Johnny Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa in a Chicago street fight. What makes it different being a Chicago street fight?
Well, it's in Chicago. So, you wouldn't have a Chicago street fight in Dallas, because that would be a Dallas street fight.
That'd be such a heel move, wouldn't it? If Ciampa challenges Gargano to a Boston street fight.
Yeah.
In Chicago. So this is their second encounter after their really brutal, unsanctioned fight at TakeOver Houston.
No, it was
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Got there eventually. New Orleans. NOLA. A trophy.
I like how you just go.
Where else has WrestleMania been in the last couple of years? So this is their second encounter. Gargano won the first one, and they nicely wrapped up the story. I would have almost preferred Gargano and Ciampa to be kept apart and then come back again, like 2 takeovers time.
I agree.
But they've gone right back to the well here, and it's that is a storytelling shame. Although it has been good stuff, it's nowhere that high has been lost building up to their first proper match.
Mm-hmm.
But purely no, I'm going first, aren't I?
You are.
Purely because Gargano won the first one, and Ciampa's been out for so long, and he's lost that first takeover match back. I've got to give it to Ciampa.
I do wonder if they are going to give it to Ciampa, and then they'll do the rubber match at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn 4, which will be the next TakeOver show, and that'll be your big giant blow off to this, where you have the rubber match that one a piece. It's maybe that's what they're going to do. So I'm actually going to go for Ciampa as well. I was going to say Gargano, but I wonder if they are going to do the rubber match at Brooklyn 4, and that'll be the one to end it all.
Which is great. Like, we love long-term storytelling, and this is a story that's been told over 2.5, 3 years from them coming into NXT, the Cruiserweight Classic, the tag team, the breakup, the injury, which prolonged this for a long period of time. So it's a shame that now this last bit, where they're actually fighting, does feel to be crammed into 3 takeovers.
Yeah.
and it does look like they're going to do that.
Yeah, like it'd been cool to have, say, they had Ciampa against someone else on this show because, like, they did a big injury angle for Johnny Gargano, so you had almost an excuse for him not to be on the TakeOver show. And you could have even done, like, if Ciampa had won that, you could have even repeated the angle you'd done at Philadelphia, where, like, Ciampa is celebrating up the ramp, and all of a sudden Gargano comes out and hits him, poetic justice. And been quite nice, really. Yeah,
that would have been a lot better way to keep this feud going without making it. And it's not stale. It's only their second match, but I wouldn't have done it this way.
Yeah.
But still very much looking forward to it. Finally, Aleister Black, the champion, defending against Lars Sullivan, the Jack Kirby drawing come to life.
A title match that I think NXT cared about so little, it was, like, made just before, like, I think it was more or less just made last week. So, like, with 2 weeks to go before TakeOver, we've had months to sort this out. Lars Sullivan. It's Lars Sullivan.
If that doesn't tell you that Black's retaining.
Right.
So this was the original plan for New Orleans.
New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
New Orleans. But Lars Sullivan just kind of disappeared for a bit. Some said he was injured. I can't remember how that really resolved. And then he came back and Black had moved on to... No, it was Almas. It was meant to be Almas versus Sullivan. My apologies.
Yes.
And now that Lars is finally getting that shot here, it's going to be interesting to see how they play it in terms of match structure. But yes, you're going first.
Well,
here.
I mean, I loved the angle that they did on NXT, where he went to do Black Mass, and he just, like, without even flinching, just, like, caught the foot and then just dragged it down and hit his what's his finish called? His freak accidents, and just hit that move and kind of stood tall. But I cannot see Lars Sullivan as NXT champion at this point in time. This just feels like a proper, like an 80s Hogan thing of just like, we're going to bring in this big lad, make him look like a monster, so we can then feed him to Hogan and Hogan can beat him. And I think Aleister Black is 100% retaining here.
And I agree. That means we're completely drawn across the board. And it's a curious bit of booking because Lars doesn't... I don't feel like Lars being in this title match and losing really helps him.
No, it certainly doesn't. There's other people that I would probably rather see in this position and I'd like to have seen Aleister Black as champion get into a massive feud, like straight off the bat. He's won the championship, and then he gets his first big feud that he can sink his teeth into. We can build to a big old match at a TakeOver show. Maybe that's what we're going to get at Brooklyn 4. At least you'd hope we're going to get that at Brooklyn 4. Maybe with an EC3, maybe with a Ricochet, someone like that. You can do a big old match at the next TakeOver show. So it's a shame that this is kind of like almost a throwaway match. Like, I almost think this might even be like third on the card.
Yeah, possibly.
Like, they might actually consider Ricochet and Velveteen Dream a bigger matchup than they currently have here.
Or Baszler and Cross as well.
I think Baszler and Cross will... that will open the show, or the tag match will open the show.
And curiously, no UK title on this show, and no North American champion.
Nope,
either.
No Adam Cole. It will just be in the corner of the Undisputed Era. And no EC3. No, these big debuts that you've done. They've been really pushing Kona Reeves on TV. Like, he's not on the show either. It kind of shows you the depth that NXT has as a roster. That some of these guys can just kind of take a night off, on a big show.
But also kind of, do you need that many titles?
We did say this at the time, that NXT probably didn't need a mid-card title because they only really have 5 matches, which means that 4 of them on average will be for championships, or championships won't be featured.
One last prediction. We won't count it in the thing, though. Who's going to turn up on camera watching in the crowd?
Keith Lee's going to be at ringside.
We hope so.
I do think that Keith is going to be there, and he's going to get OMG, look who it is. It's international sensation, and Limitless Keith Lee.
And he'll do this.
And he will look, and he'll just be absolutely awesome. And he'll just look at us and go like, support Oli. Support Luke. If he says something along the lines that pushes us,
he would never do that.
I know he wouldn't.
Never do that. And nor should he. This is his first thing on WWE programming.
It's just like, WrestleTalk's great.
Those two guys who once really said nice things about me.
Yeah, and we had a nice drink with him as well.
We did. But yeah, like, he's so good. I really, really want him to succeed.
Yeah.
But yes, that's all we've got time for today. Please click the videos that have just appeared on our laps to catch up with the latest WrestleTalk videos. And this little box here, which will subscribe you to the podcast version, completely for free, with exclusive intros and outros. I've been Ollie Davis, this has been Luke Owen, and that was Rambling.